Hey everybody, what is up? Ashleigh Mayfield here. I am so excited to be back with you where we are going to talk all things business, leadership, and real life change. So let's dive in. Today, I want to download to you the 3 ways that I cast vision and rally the troops. Now, if you're not familiar, I run a very successful online business and it started about 4 years ago. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was always passionate about leadership. And I've just realized as the years have gone on, how much more passionate, not just with leadership, but I am about vision and culture within an organization. Now, we all know what the Bible says, without vision, the people perish. We all know that also in our own individual lives, right? If we want to accomplish something, we need to be able to have a vision for how we want to accomplish it. We need a vision for our goal, for our dreams. That way our ambition has a path that it can go down. It knows exactly where it needs to go. And so that matters not just with me, but also in my organization. Maybe you are a business owner. Maybe you are overseeing people. Maybe you lead and manage people. They need a vision for where they need to go. Now, a whole nother video that I can do is all about how to cultivate a vision for yourself. But what I can tell you is that I have found 3 things that have allowed me to continue to get my fishies, let's call them, swimming in the same direction. There's so much power and momentum that you can accomplish, that you can accumulate whenever you have everyone in your organization that you lead or that you manage, when they are swimming in the same direction, when they understand what the goal is. When we have all of them going down, this concept we call in my specific business, we call it swimming down. Now, maybe you have kids, maybe you don't. I might have seen Finding Nemo 7 times in the movie theaters. Okay. And so in Finding Nemo, there's a part where all of these fish that have helped Marlin and Dory to figure out how to find Nemo, where they get caught in a fisher's net. And the fish, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Marlin and Dory, or it's Nemo and Dory. I don't remember. But they tell all the fish to swim down. If all the fish were to swim in the same direction, going against the net, it's going to break the net. And so I find that vision is the same way. Now, vision starts within me as the leader. And as I'm pouring and filling up my cup, my organization gets the overflow of all the vision that I have. So let's talk about that overflow today, because if you're managing or leading people, I have no doubt that you want to make all your fishies swim in the same area and you want to say, swim down, swim down. That way they will bust through whatever glass ceiling is there. So let's dive in. Vision is everything. So what are the 3 ways that I cast vision and I rally my troops? Number 1, leaders are repeaters. I first saw this concept. I'm sure I've heard of it before, but I read the book Atomic Habits. It was just outstanding. If you have not read that book, you need to grab it. And it said that leaders are repeaters. Now, what I can tell you one thing, okay? I need all my ladies, where you at? We do not like repeating ourselves, okay? We are consistently repeating ourselves as wives, as moms, in our profession. And I think that's something that we get really irritated about. And I have found that the people that I lead and that I manage, they're like, well, I've already said it. And how many times have we even said that in our own life? But I had to realize that leaders are repeaters. It is my responsibility to say something over and over and over and over. And what I found is that we're not trying to say new things to old people. We're trying to say old things to new people. So whatever that vision is that you're going after, I'm not talking about changing your mission statement every single month. I'm not talking about that, but my business runs very cyclical. It runs on a 30-day cycle. So every month, my business kind of starts over and we start building back up with what I specifically do. And so every month we kind of shift and tweak our vision a little bit. And so leaders are repeaters. That means that no matter who was in my organization the month before, when it's the start of a fresh month, I need to make sure that I'm saying the vision. I need to make sure that I'm casting the vision. I need to make sure that I am repeating it over and over and over and not just once. And so there was a time about a year ago where me and my husband, we were giving away a contest, and it was a very lavish, contest that we were giving away. And we presented it, in our entire tribe. They were eating it up. They wanted every bit of it. The problem was the contest lasted over 90 days. And guess what I did? I got really loud about it one time with my tribe. Now you're kind of like, so did you let it go? Absolutely not. I thought about it all the time. I talked to leaders about it. I talked to my husband about it. I started bragging to other people in my company about what I was doing with my team. I got so loud about it to everybody but my team. And so you could imagine how frustrated I was at the end of 90 days when no one qualified but me. And at first I was so devastated about it. I was like, obviously I was all the emotions. Petty is my favorite color, okay? So I was all the emotions. But at the end of the day, I had to acknowledge that I failed my team because leaders are repeaters. And I know statistically a few years ago, they put out that it takes 7 different forms of communication in order for it to get to somebody. So that means you got to text them, you got to call them, you got to email them, you got to send them a Facebook message, they got to read it on Twitter, you got to do a TikTok about it, and then they got to get a letter in the mail about it. That's 7 different forms of communication right there in order for it to sink in. And so I made a mistake. And so what this means as the leader of your organization, whatever that vision is that you want to cast, whatever that overall thing that you are fighting for, and if you can get all your fishies to swim in the same direction that you know you're going to conquer, it rises and falls on you. And I believe it. When all the gurus say that about leadership, it rises and falls on the leader. And so understand that leaders are repeaters, and that might irritate you and it might frustrate you because bye-bye. Like, I don't like doing it any more than you do, okay? It's very frustrating when I have to consistently repeat myself. But since that moment a year ago, I've realized how powerful it is. How powerful it is. It creates momentum. It creates energy when it's consistently coming from me as the head of my organization. So number 1, leaders are repeaters. Number 2, you have to have your team take some kind of ownership of the vision. So remember, we're going over 3 ways that I cast vision and rally the troops. So you have to take it a step further. You can't be the only one that's saying it over and over and over and over and over. So in our organization, I make sure that anytime we are starting a meeting, whether that's like a video on Zoom, or I'm going live in my organization, or I'm posting a recording, or I'm posting something about what the goals are for the month, you better believe I am always asking, what's our goal this month? What's our goal this month? And they're like, and they take ownership. I need them to take ownership. I need them to repeat the vision back to me. That's super important. It's almost like a see, do, teach. Like they're seeing me do it, and now I need them to do it. That way I can teach them, this is how we build culture. This is how we establish vision. I need them to take some kind of ownership. Now, this helps in a multiple different ways, okay? I not only want them to own it for them to own it, but I want them to own it because I want them to feel a part. I want them to feel included. That is such a powerful part of culture, right? People need to feel like they have a place. They need to feel like they have a spot. And whenever they're repeating it back to me, they're almost stamping their approval like this is the entity that I'm a part of. This is the organization that I'm thriving in. And this is the mission that we together are doing this. And that's not only going to help them take ownership of it, but it's going to help them take it and swim down with their fishies in their organization. So now we not only have leadership, we not only have vision, but we really are creating culture because we're creating that duplication where I might not be able to touch, you might not be able to touch every single person that you lead and manage. But if you have an effective system in which you communicate, have the vision casted through and communication goes all the way down into the depths of your organization, that's more people that are going to be able to get on board and they're going to be able to take ownership of it as well. I also think about how much this fans the flame of momentum. So one thing that was very profound and that I truly believe in, like I already said, leadership goes from the top all the way down, okay? Leadership starts with you. Leadership starts with me. It starts with being the head of the organization. But that is not how momentum is built. Momentum is built from the bottom up. When you go all the way into the depths of your organization, and now you might not be able to, you might say, hey, I oversee tens of thousands of people. I don't even know how that's possible. You gotta find a way. You gotta find a way to go to the inner depths of your organization And maybe that's not you specifically touching people, but momentum is built from the bottom up. It's when you go down and you change the brand new person's life that's going to inspire their leader, that's going to inspire their manager, that's going to inspire them and them and them, and it's going to climb all the way up. The fire is at the bottom. And so I always encourage people, whenever you're casting that vision, you need to make sure that you're not just saying it to the same old, same old. Remember, we're saying old things to new people. And every single month, because my business, like I said, is cyclical, every single month I am doing my best to cast that vision, to be able to make sure that my voice, that my energy is being heard in the depths of my organization, because I want those fresh people at the bottom to feel a part, to jump in, and to take ownership as well. So it's not just leaders or repeaters, and it's not just I need my tribe to take ownership of everything. But the last thing is I need to make sure that I'm honoring the right behavior. What system do you have set in place in your organization? Because remember, we're talking about casting vision. We're talking about making sure that we're reaching our goals, that we are high achievers, that we're crushing things, that there is progress, that there is energy, that our organization, whatever you lead or manage, it is a living, breathing organism. And you have to affirm people who are doing the right things. Now, I'm an expert in a personality test. There's a specific one. I've always been really passionate about Myers-Briggs and DISC test. And I'm so excited. I want to bring some resources to you guys soon about this test. In fact, if you look on my YouTube, it's already called the color personality test. And it's something it has changed my life. I'm very proficient in this test. I've studied it. I haven't read anything. I haven't done anything. I have studied the results of this. And so I know that it's human nature that we all want to be affirmed. It doesn't matter your personality, right? That's not biased to a specific personality, specific demographic, specific type of person. Like, we all need to be affirmed. We all need to feel validated. We all need to be empowered that we are on the right path. So some things that I do in my organization is in the systems that we use is we have special recognition protocols. We have special shout out threads that we call them, that whenever someone is doing whatever the vision is. Now, we have a couple different visions that we're casting. Obviously, they're all towards leading people to freedom. That's our mission. Okay. Our mission is to help people find freedom. And so under the umbrella of freedom, there's a couple different ways that we cast that vision, right? And anytime someone is doing that, we always make sure we get really loud about it. Why? Because if someone's sitting on the sidelines of the vision and they haven't really bought in, when they see the right behavior being honored, they're going to want to jump in. When they see people getting recognition, people will die for recognition, right? Remember a time in your life when you did something that you knew was stellar, but someone didn't recognize you for it. You felt like, you were like, what the heck? I did the right thing. Why am I not being honored for this, right? And so it's so important that whenever people are doing the vision that you're casting, whatever they're taking a step, and it doesn't have to look like something massive. Like, I think about one thing that I'm so passionate is people paying off debt. I make sure that I honor the people who are making $10,000 payments in a month as much as I honor the person who's making the minimum payments or even $10 beyond the minimum payments. Why? Because it's not just the process, it's their process. And I want to make sure that where they're at in their process, that I'm honoring that right behavior. If I am creating an environment that is conducive for people to pay off debt, maybe they're not on the level where they're paying off multiple hundreds or multiple thousands a month. But maybe they're just saying, you know what, this extra $20, I could go through McDonald's, but instead, I'm going to make sure that I pay it towards my debt because I'm also a part of a greater organization that honors this. And so it is so important that you find and you create some kind of system that's going to honor the right behavior, whether that is public recognition, which I'm always an advocate for. Maybe it's in writing, maybe it's a voice memo, maybe it's a handwritten card. I don't know. But you have to find a way to honor the behavior because you do need an attaboy. You do need a round of applause. You do need a clap on the back. Like, people need that. And I promise you, when you start doing that, it's kind of like Ivan Pavlov, okay? I did an entire science fair project my senior year of high school, and I had to stand up in front of these judges. I don't even know what it was, but obviously it benefited me because I remember Ivan Pavlov. And so, it's classical conditioning. When you put the biscuit in front of a dog and you ring the bell, the dog salivates because it sees the biscuit. And eventually you don't even have to put the biscuit in front of the dog. You just ring the bell and the dog is going to salivate. It's the same process. You want to start programming your fishies in which situation, in what direction, you want them to swim in. Now, let me be very clear. I could do a whole video on this as well. Manipulation and influence are the exact same skill set. The difference is manipulation serves me and influence serves you. I take you where you want to go. And so you want to make sure that you're not manipulating your people. You're not creating systems that are going to benefit you and they seek out to what you want, okay? I never had to go to my team and say, I want you guys to pay off debt or I want you to do X, Y, Z. They saw, again, vision. I fill up my cup first. They saw me transforming my life. And then it became an overflow. They started coming to me. So now it's a part of our culture because they requested it, okay? And so not every culture is going to be set up like that. And I understand that. I run an online business. It's a lot different than what is out there in corporate America. But that doesn't mean that you can't find ways to honor the right behavior. And maybe you're under a leader, maybe you're under a manager or a boss that has not established a system. I dare to say it doesn't mean that you can't do it. So what system do you need to create, cultivate, inspire, start, suggest that can honor the right behavior? It matters. I promise you, when you're not only casting that vision, you're repeating it over and over and over. You're making sure they're repeating it back. You're making sure they're taking some kind of ownership. And then the moment they do and they take steps in the right direction, you're cheering for them so loud. You guys, that matters. Sometimes people won't show up for their own mission and vision, but they will show up for yours. So how are you going to take this information and run? How are you going to take this information, these things that I've downloaded to you, and how are you going to implement them? That way you can start seeing the ball roll in your organization and you can see results like never before. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you found any value, I ask that you pay the fee. The fee is not money. The fee is this. Share this with a friend. Make sure you tag someone. Share it on social media. Make sure you tag me. I love when people tag me on social media. I love being able to share these things. I love to be able to read your comments, your reviews, whatever it is, your suggestions. Find me on social media. Follow me. If you have a question about business, leadership, or real life change, I'd love for you to offer a suggestion. I'm always open to what people have. In fact, I've got a lot more stuff coming your way. And so feel free to slide in my DM. I'd love to have a conversation with you. In the meantime, I hope you continue changing your life and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.